My story begins with a moment that still feels unreal. Imagine sitting in a courtroom, every muscle in your body tense, every memory of the pain you endured boiling just beneath the skin, and then watching your abuser explode in front of a judge so hard that he has to slam his gavel twice in 20 years just to shut her up. That was the moment I realized karma does not miss. Sometimes she just waits for the perfect stage. If you've ever felt powerless, if someone ever tried to crush your spirit and got away with it for way too long, hit that like button, subscribe, and join the community. This is a story where justice isn't served quietly. It's served flaming hot. Let's get into it. My childhood started with loss. I was only 6 when my mother died from cancer. I hadn't realized a heart could break permanently until then. Every memory of her voice, her smell, the way she hugged me became something I clung to like a raft in a storm. My dad, on the other hand, drowned. Work was his escape while she was sick, and when she passed, he collapsed completely. Alcohol filled the space she left behind, and for nearly a year I watched the man who had always been distant become a ghost. My older sister finally dragged him back into reality. It was like someone flipped a switch. Suddenly he was really trying to connect with us. He became present, almost overly caring, desperate to make up for lost time. For the first time in my life, I felt like maybe we could build something normal. He started dating around, and honestly, we didn't mind. Most of these women had kids our age, so we'd tag along for dinners or activities. We'd get toys, fun weekends, house visits. It felt like he was trying to rebuild our family. And then he met her. The woman we would later call Satan. At first, she was perfect, sickeningly perfect. Sweet, generous, always smiling. Her grown kids had left behind top-tier toy stuff my brother and I had only dreamed of. She spoiled us, praised us, made us feel wanted. We were kids. Manipulation doesn't look like manipulation when you're 8. It looks like kindness. 3 or 4 months later, Dad sits us down. "What do you think of her?" he asks. We lit up. We said she was awesome. 1 week later, shotgun wedding, no warning, no explanation. Just dress nice and boom, new mom, if only we knew. Within days, literal days, her mask snapped. The sweetness evaporated. The woman who had hugged us, laughed with us, given us toys, gone, replaced with someone who looked at me like I was an infestation. As the oldest, I became the target. She accused me of breaking things, stealing food, destroying her clothes. She planted evidence candy wrappers in our room, torn clothes stuffed under my bed. Dad believed her every single time. I got screamed at, grounded, punished, humiliated. The worst part wasn't the punishment, it was the betrayal. After everything we had lost, after everything he promised, he believed her over us. By 9 years old, she was physically and verbally abusing me, slaps, shoves, screaming in my face that I was the devil, calling me a bastard. It burned in a way I can't even put into words. I tried telling Dad, but every accusation she made had proof because she staged it herself. So I was the problem child. I lived like this from 8 to 12. 4 years in hell. But when I hit 12, puberty hit back. I got taller, stronger, and more importantly, I snapped. I stopped trying to be the good kid. I grew my hair out, blasted metal, slammed doors, sprayed cologne in her face whenever she barged into my room screaming about demonic children. She claimed she was allergic to everything: smoke, cologne, loud noises, happiness. So yeah, it drove her crazy. My punishments were brutal: chopping firewood, working in my dad's shop for hours. But honestly, at that point I didn't care. I wasn't scared of her anymore. By 15, she started kicking me out of the house, acting like it was some big punishment. Jokes on her, I packed faster than she could finish the sentence, but then she'd call the cops and tell them I ran away. So I'd end up with police warnings, threats about juvie, and more therapy sessions. I went through therapists like Pokemon cards. I made a game out of confusing them, giving them the most unhelpful answers imaginable. Eventually, after enough kickouts, I got institutionalized twice, maybe 3 times. Even Dad began realizing something wasn't adding up. He wasn't stupid, just manipulated. And Satan, she pushed too hard. When she tried forcing him to send me to a boys' ranch at 16, Dad finally snapped. "No," he told her. Go F asterisk 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 yourself. It was the first time I'd seen her stunned. Her new target became my little brother, but unlike me, he didn't tolerate anything. One day, while hammering posts for her miniature horses, she started screaming in his face. He swung a sledgehammer so close to her head it parted her hair. Dad saw it happen, and Dad said nothing, because he finally saw the truth. The final breaking point came at dinner. She got in my brother's face, yelling. He threw his entire plate across the room. She screamed at him to clean it. I stepped in and started cleaning instead, trying to keep the peace. She screeched, "Not him!" "You little bastard." That word. Bastard. After losing my mom. It was like the world turned red. My pulse roared in my ears. I told her to shut the F asterisk 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 up and go to hell. Dad sent me to my room, not in anger. But because he saw the fire in my eyes, she wasn't done. She stormed into the living room, screaming at him, refusing to let him go outside to smoke. She blocked him like a guard dog. He warned her, "If you smack another cigarette out of my hands, you'll regret it." She smacked it away. Then slapped him hard across the face. Dad snapped. He shoved her into the wall so hard she bounced. She charged him again, hand cocked back. That's when I intervened. I lunged, grabbed her wrist mid-swing and growled, "Don't you dare touch my dad again, you bitch." Dad didn't hesitate. "Pack your things. We're leaving." She screamed nonstop. So loud she called the cops on us, claiming she was assaulted. When the police showed up, she lost her mind, screaming, flailing, interrupting them. The officers had to tell her multiple times to shut up or go to jail. They let us leave. She filed a restraining order. Dad filed for divorce. She poisoned the entire church community against us. Everyone treated us like monsters. But karma doesn't forget. Divorce court came. Dad had a lawyer friend who charged him almost nothing. We prepared, rehearsed, stayed calm. My turn to testify comes. I walk past Satan and give her the sweetest smile imaginable. She turns cherry red. Before I even finish my first sentence, she erupts. Full-blown, incoherent screaming. The judge slams his gavel, the first time he'd used it in 20 years. The courtroom snickers. I can't help but laugh too. She loses it again. The judge bangs the gavel a second time. The man looks at it like it's a foreign object and says, 20 years without using this thing, and today I use it twice. At that point, he doesn't even let her testify. He throws out her case, reverses the restraining order permanently against her, and splits the assets evenly. We walked out with the kind of relief you feel in your bones. But Dad wasn't done. After everything she put us through, he shadowed her. Whenever she left the house, he followed, slowly, deliberately, just to give her that smug look. She became so paranoid she couldn't even buy groceries. Eventually, she stopped going outside altogether. For months, she starved on her own fear. Dad eventually moved on and began seeing someone new, and then the tragedy, medication negligence, overlapping prescriptions, memory loss, a fatal overdose. 15 years later, I've forgiven him. I know he tried. I know he didn't see the truth until later, and I'm grateful we finally bonded before he passed. That year after he left Satan, it was the only time I ever felt like I had a real dad. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. Some stories hurt to tell, but they help someone else heal. Sometimes the justice you get is loud and messy, and sometimes it's simply peace. If you've ever experienced a moment where karma finally caught up, share it in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and join the channel for more stories where the underdog gets the justice they deserve. And remember, revenge doesn't always destroy someone else. Sometimes it frees you.